Alright, so I saw the recent news that it looks like Tesla is likely opening up their supercharging network to all other EVs, non-Teslas, sort of like they're doing in Europe, but now doing it for the US. So I figured it'd be a good day to go test out this SEMA Connect charger that is here in the next town over from us, right here at their sort of arts center thingy, and talk a little bit about whether or not I think that's a good idea, what it's going to mean for Tesla owners and for EVs in general in the US. All right, so I just picked up my coffee from the amazing Sunday Motor Company cafe here in Madison, New Jersey. My favorite place to go for coffee. It's got a cool car theme. I think it's a former like gas station and garage, converted into a cafe now. They make some pretty good coffee, and there's always interesting cars here. So there was a McLaren meetup here last week when I ran by. I've seen a bunch of Porsche meetups and BMW and stuff too. And every once in a while you'll see a few electric cars here, but it's also pretty popular with Teslas too. And then just down the street, you've got this SEMA Connect public charger that the town put in. So it looks like right now I'm getting about 6 kilowatts from it, which is pretty standard for these level 2 chargers. So 30 amps, 200 volts. So actually a little bit less than I get at home even. But the good news is it looks like the charging is actually free since it's subsidized by the town. And I think I paid 25 cents basically just to connect to it, and free parking, of course, too. So, not bad. I guess, while I was waiting to get my coffee, let's see, I got about 1 kilowatt hour. So nothing too crazy, but, better than nothing, I guess. And I figured I can, sit here and charge while I am talking anyway. All right, so I'm here in the Model Y today. Excuse the horrible blanket behind me, but I went for a run before dropping the boys off at day camp, and I was sweaty and didn't want to stink the car up. Yeah, I saw that not only has Tesla now expanded its supercharging network in Europe to allow non-Teslas at additional countries. I think they started in Norway, then started doing the Netherlands, and it looks like they're doing Germany and a few others now too. And the way that they're doing that is basically you can, in Europe it's actually much easier because Teslas use the standard CCS Type 2 connectors, not the proprietary Tesla connectors that we've got here. And so basically all cars, or at least most, are using that now. So you don't need adapters and stuff. You can kind of just plug right in. But the bigger thing is that with the superchargers, you have plug-in, what do you call it? Plug-in charge, where you don't have to use some app or scan anything or anything. Tesla just communicates with the charger and starts charging, and knows how to charge back to you. But what they're doing for non-Teslas in Europe is basically you go into the Tesla app and you have the option there to just search a charger by location and by number, and then pretty similar to like all of these other chargers, you just type in the one that you're at, and as long as you've got payment information in there, it will connect and start charging. So pretty nice. The interesting thing there is, first of all, compared to the US, the charging infrastructure is much more built out in Europe, so it's not as big of a benefit there, and not as it's not like Tesla's got the big head start that they've got here in the US, where I saw that of DC fast chargers, over 50% are Tesla currently in the US. In EU, it's much more balanced. And then the other interesting thing is that the Tesla chargers are actually slower than a lot of the publicly available ones in Europe and cost more. So it's not super competitive offering from Tesla there, but I guess, anything to have additional, charging infrastructure is always a good thing. So then when you apply it to the US, it becomes a little bit more interesting because there are already a lot of places, like we saw on our trip down to Cape May, where the superchargers are pretty popular just with Teslas. And, I haven't experienced long waits or anything, but I've definitely seen cases where, you end up, sharing power with others, and, there's just a lot of like back and forth traffic in the superchargers because of the demand of them right now. And so then if you open it up to, non-Teslas, obviously there's going to be more cars there, more demand, and, potentially waiting more. So, there are a couple of things that I'm sure Tesla's going to do to make it slightly more convenient and incentivize Tesla owners over others. That could be like charging rates, the costs, things like that. But I think that's definitely the biggest downside is, as an owner of a Tesla, it could mean that you're going to be waiting even longer and potentially sharing with a bunch of other non-Tesla EVs at the chargers. But what I really hope happens is that by opening this up, first of all, it should spur more competition in the space. If Tesla's superchargers are available, it's going to incentivize these other manufacturers to start building out networks too, and to start building out more public charging. It's also going to be good for the EV industry as a whole. The more chargers out there, the more convenient it is for people. The more people are going to adapt EVs and go evangelize it and everything. It's also going to be good for Tesla's business. They're going to make a ton of money off of it, I'm sure. They're going to charge higher rates than some of the publicly funded ones. I think it's also going to have sort of a halo effect where people with non-Teslas go to these superchargers. They're going to see a bunch of Teslas there. They're going to see people, watching Netflix and whatever on their screens, and probably end up, asking about Teslas and learning more about them. And I'm sure there's going to be, some additional sales and stuff that come out of that too. So I think, overall it's going to be good. I'm not super excited to, have to, potentially share the chargers more than already, but I also don't use them very often. I'm charging at home 90% of the time, and then the other probably 9% is at these kinds of public chargers, and only 1% at superchargers anyway. So it's not a big deal to me. I'm actually pretty excited for it and look forward to having more infrastructure that's available for all EV owners to hopefully speed up adoption in general, not just of Teslas. Especially as someone considering, moving to a non-Tesla EV at some point in the future, or at least, extending the cars that we've got to include some non-Tesla ones. So I'm pretty excited for it. It's nothing official yet, but I think, the fact that they're doing it in the EU already, and there have been some internal memos leaked and stuff about them expanding it to the US, I think it's more likely than not to happen, at least in some locations. I could see them, doing it more in the lower demand ones, sort of in the middle of the country. First as a pilot and seeing how that goes before they open it up, to especially some of the bigger and busier ones on the East Coast and in California in particular. Depending on how that goes, maybe they open it up even further beyond that. But I think it'll be good. It looked like, the stock market was reacting positively to it. Tesla stock was up as a result of that. And I think everybody sees, how much additional revenue that can potentially bring in for Tesla. So, I hope that the biggest thing is they can maintain the building out the infrastructure more, bring more of the V3 superchargers out, expand the number of stalls, bring it to more locations and everything along with that, and use that the money that they're making from it, expanding it to continue to invest in the infrastructure, because it doesn't feel like it is totally, I mean, it definitely compared to others, Tesla's doing way better, and it feels like they're keeping up a bit better. But, certainly doesn't feel like all of the infrastructure is keeping up to just the rapid explosion in demand of EVs lately. So hopefully it will result in that. So yeah, overall, I'm excited about it. We'll see, what actually happens and when. And, looking forward to seeing how they potentially expand it in the future. So hope that's helpful. If you've got any questions about that, or even my public charging experience, it looks like now from just sitting here, I'm up to a whopping 2 kilowatt hours. But I'm about to disconnect. And, feel free to leave any comments or questions below. Let me know if you're excited about it or if you think it's going to be a horrible thing for Tesla owners. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.